Yeah, 'cause I could hear
Live. What's going on, guys? This is Kyle Carroll from MyMMAnews.com on Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast. I'm here with Brian Canals. Brian, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Kyle. Hey, how you guys doing today?
So, Brian, you're a late replacement filling in for Sean Larkin for Team USA on the Jackhammer Promotions English Invasion 3 card. How's it feel to get on the card?
Well, I mean, I had been trying to get on Campbell's past two cards. He had matched me up on the last one with about two different opponents and then an injury and last minute dropout, so I ended up not fighting. But, my trainer lets him know that I'm always ready to go and ready to take a late minute replacement fight if he ever needs to. And luckily, 3 weeks out, it happened. So I've been training. Did two back-to-back training camps despite not having a fight, so I was ready to go no matter what. So just jumped into a quick 3-week training camp because I had taken about the last week easily, but easy for me isn't easy for most people. So it's still I'm always training no matter what, but I'll be ready to go no matter what day, what time, what weight. So.
Awesome. And now you train at a Belmore Kickboxing, which is considered one of the premier gyms on Long Island. Tell us what it's like to be training there and to fight out of a gym like that.
Well, I'm always surrounded by like top level fighters, top level pros. We have a lot of guys in the UFC, a lot of top level boxers training in our gym right now. Um, we got some kickboxers that are very good. I started when I first started going there. I was taking classes with Terrence Hill, who's a pro Muay Thai fighter, and a lot of people know him. He does seminars and everything, and he's a very, very well respected fighter. So I had a good base going in before I finally started training with one of the owners, Matt Behrman, who I've been with ever since I started fighting. And we've had our ups and downs, but I finally got a rhythm going, and me and him clicked together, better than most other people. So it's a great gym, and we always get, because it's such a good gym, we have a lot of friends from other gyms that like to come down, use our ring. We go to other gyms and spar. We have a really good system going, and the gym's got everything you need. We got bikes, treadmills, a weight room, a ring, a cage, multiple bags. So it's always fun training there and never gets stale, no matter what. I've been to other gyms before, but Belmore's always my home, no matter what.
Awesome. And where are you from on Long Island? Like a lot of people think it's just this tiny little island, but
yeah, I'm from North Merrick.
okay.
I live on the border of East Meadow in North Merrick, so like as far north as you could go. So
Awesome. Now tell us a little bit about your style without giving away what you're gonna do and stuff, because people are probably curious to see what your style is inside the ring.
well, I like to mix up obviously Muay Thai. I do a little bit of Dutch style and also a lot of boxing. So I like to put all of it together. I don't stick to just one style. I like to mix it up here and there. So you'll see me doing a little bit of everything. Knees, punches, kicks, all that.
Awesome. And now you're representing Team USA. Like I mentioned earlier, you're replacing Sean Larkin, who had to pull out due to medical reasons. What does it mean to be a part of Team USA?
It's awesome because Campbell had two other Team USA versus England shows before this, and I wasn't able to get on that show, either of those shows, but my training partner, Brian Zadie, I think was able to get on the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a war with one of this kid from England, and that was maybe a year or two ago. And, ever since then, I've been like, it's awesome because out of, him, me, and the other fighters that are on my team, the kickboxers, I think he was one of the first people to fight someone internationally from out of the country, which is really, really, really cool. And ever since then, I've always wanted to do that. So my last fight was against someone from Canada. This fight is against someone from England. So I'm getting somewhere. I accomplishing that.
Yeah, now, what do you did you learn anything from a different style standpoint, fighting the guy from Canada and knowing that the guys in England, they do have a little bit different style than the Americans? Is there anything you learned from the Canadian that you can use to fight the Englishman?
Um, yeah, I'm not going to disclose much, but the guy from Canada, he had fought Thailand before. He was very straight Muay Thai style, and I did good in my specialties, but I didn't come out in the first round doing what I was good at. I played into his game, so that kind of dictated the rhythm of the rest of the fight, my last fight. I ended up coming up short, but I had a lot of success, a lot of success doing what I was good at. So if I just stick to my game and just stay at that 110%, I should have no problem.
Awesome. Now, tell us why you get into the ring. What inspires you to continue training to climb into the ring? Is it a family member? Is it something about the sport, or is it just some athlete that just inspires you to get in there?
Honestly, it's just about the sport. I back when I was in high school, I got into a lot of fist fights, and for a while I was getting butt kicked. Sometimes I was kicking people who were twice my size butts. So after a while, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to just, not fight. So I didn't think anything about fighting any people. I didn't want to get in trouble in high school. And one day I'm at home, and after school, I saw a UFC fight. It was Clay Guida versus Diego Sanchez. And that fight was an absolute war, just standing up and just trading with each other. And when I saw that, I was just like, damn, I could do that. That's exactly how my street fights were. So after a while, I'd always ask my parents if they could pay for me to go to an MMA school. I was doing a lot of research, what's near me, what's good. There was like, it's places like Sarah's if I wanted to do jiu-jitsu or law and everything. I've heard of Campbell's, Belmore, I remember seeing back in the day when just type on Google, kickboxing, MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up doing with Belmore because, finally I had my own job. I was able to afford training by myself. So I was just like, screw it, let me just start taking classes. I was doing the full MMA program there, but eventually I just fell in love with the striking and the kickboxing. That's what I was good at. That's what I liked. I started watching K1 and all that stuff. And, that must have been about 6 years ago. And since then, about 14 fights later, I'm still doing it. I love it. It's just what I like to do. I used to lift weights all the time, and eventually I stopped lifting weights, and I was just sticking to, hitting the bag, hitting pads, sparring, running, and just doing the straight thing for keeping in shape and just enjoying fighting and stuff, Ultimately, I have a goal. I'd like to fight as a professional, but, only time will tell, and we'll see if I could achieve that goal, but I'm always training and I'm always working to do it, so why not? I love this thing. I have the most passion yet.
Oh, what's your timetable to turn pro? What's your record currently?
I'm 6-7.
Okay.
I've had a few rough patches, but that's also because I fought some fights that maybe I shouldn't have taken, but it's also against some of the best people around. I fought Will Joya when I only had 4 fights. I was 2-2 for Will Joya for a title, and he had 20 fights at the time. One of Campbell's guys, he was a beast. I fought Timmy Persuade, who's fighting on the same card I am for a world title, on about 10 minutes notice, short notice, on Top Kick Super Fights. My opponent pulled out, and so did his, and they asked me, you want to fight Timmy Persuade? I had no clue who he was, where he was from, how many belts he had. I walked out, I see Tommy Batone, Lennox Chance, and Andre Schuler holding up all his titles. When I saw that, I was just like, damn, what did I just get myself in? I won 3 hard rounds with him. We banged and stuff. I thought I could have beat him if I went in there with a better mindset. It wasn't that my skill was there. It's just, I went in there going like, I'm fighting the world champion or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't necessarily push myself as hard as I thought I could. I had some moments where I thought I could have, knocked him out or per se, but he's one tough bastard. He's really, really tough. Can't wait to see him fight that night because he hasn't fought in a while, but man, he was tough, taking some of my hardest shots.
Definitely, I think his last fight was on English Invasion 2, the last card when the English came over, and him and Mickey Bacon from England put on quite the show for the audience. Now, tell us a little bit about your dieting. Do you change the way you eat? How does camp go for you? And especially being in such a short camp.
I try and restrict all sweets and stuff. I just try and cut out sugar and processed foods. And I mean, generally, I always eat healthy. I don't really cheat as much as people would say, like cheat meals. I mean, at a camp, I eat a lot of sweets. But my diet doesn't change. I'm always eating vegetables, grilled chicken, not a lot of red meat, 3 or 4 meals a day. And I just try and stay very regimented, drink a lot of water, and drink no soda. I don't really drink alcohol. And, that's it. When I drink coffee, I don't use sugar or milk. I just use a little bit of creamer. That's it. Just try and restrict a lot of my sugar and just stay very regimented. And it works out for me,
Awesome.
And it allows me to, if I want to eat, I could probably eat more cookies and cake than most people because of how strict they keep my diet, even though I don't feel that it's strict. But other people who would look at it be like, how the hell can you just eat chicken, 5 days a week, And to me, it's good. It's easy. I go, if I'm not cooking my own meals, which I usually don't, I go with a meal prep company, Healthy Meals Direct. So
Okay.
they have very good meals, and every week I do that, and it's, works out.
So do you have sponsors to help you pay for your camps, your upcoming fights?
No, and two, I don't really need sponsors to help me pay for my camps because I work full time.
Okay.
So, and I don't really spend much on my camp. To me it's a hobby. It's not so much as like a chore, like, oh, I need help to sponsor me to eat, sponsor me to do this. To me, it's part of an everyday life. So maybe if I was somebody wanted to sponsor me and give me gear and endorse me or something, and I do what I have to do, that would be cool and everything. But it's not like I'm looking for sponsors openly. It's cool to have them, but I don't need them.
Awesome. And speaking of like sponsors and working, how do you balance full-time work? What is it that you do and training for fights?
I'm a custodian at a high school in Queens, so it's actually very demanding because we have to work a lot of overtime, and also these past snowstorms I was staying over, so I was working 20-hour plus shifts. So luckily I was able to work my training around that, but it stinks, working overtime. But here's the catch: I work 3:30 in the afternoon to 12 at night. So if I wake up 8 o'clock in the morning, get to the gym by 10, I have all that time to train and then go to work. So
awesome, cool.
It doesn't get in the way. I mean, if I had a 9 to 5 job and had to train at night, it might be a little bit more difficult, I think.
Definitely.
Now, I wouldn't have that energy to train that I would in the morning. So I'm actually lucky that I have this job that I do, and it allows me to do that.
Yeah, so it sounds like the scheduling works to your benefit.
Yeah, it does. But like I said, when these last few snowstorms, I had to work 20-hour shifts and stay over. It's kind of a buzzkill, but I could always work around that. I have a lot of time in the week, so.
Awesome. Well, what do you do for fun outside of training and working? What do you do to take your mind off of everything?
I read and play video games.
Okay. What's your big video game right now?
I'm into a lot of computer games, like computer strategy games. I mean, most people are into like PUBG or Fortnite. I'm into like Total War type games, like those kind of strategy games, like turn-based strategy. Or they do have multiplayer, but it's a lot of co-op and single-player campaign mode. And if anyone's ever played like a Total War game, it's like a very complex version of Risk, if you know what Risk is. It's a fun game, keeps you thinking. You got to do things from diplomacy to forming alliances to trade to all that stuff and building up settlements. So it's keeps your mind open. There's a lot of different directions you could go. It's not just like a normal shooter game where you have to shoot people and get the most kills per win.
Awesome.
There's different ways to play it, and I'm also into like used to play The Sims as a kid, but now I'm more into like let's say like a Sim City, like simulation building game. Not
Okay.
so much Minecraft, but games where you could like build something. Build a
Hmm.
city, like game like City Skylines or Sim City, exactly. Well, a game like Roller Coaster Tycoon is cool. Those are a little bit more childish. I'm more into like complex, more like modern games like that have everything like world. You're not just focusing on one thing, you're focusing
Definitely.
on the whole running like a world and everything, so it's very keeps your mind very stimulated. Obviously I like to play games like Battlefield 1 and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
I do play a little bit of PUBG. I haven't played Fortnite yet, even though I have it downloaded on my Xbox, so I look forward to actually getting some time to play
Yeah,
it.
I'm not even sure what Fortnite is. I've been asking people as as I go. My nephew's trying to
It's very
explain it.
cartoonish.
Yeah.
Very cartoonish. It looks like a kid's game, but everybody plays it, so I assume there's more to it. When I look at people playing it, I can't understand it because I think there's too much going on. But if people looked at the games I played, they would say the same thing. So.
Well, two more questions before we wrap it up. One, how can people find you on social media to follow your career?
Well, my Instagram is at Killacan26, and my Facebook is just Brian Canals, and
Awesome.
just a picture of me, black and white, with my hand getting raised. So if you want to give me a follow, no problem. Instagram, feel free to follow me. My page isn't private, and right now those are the only two social media platforms I use.
Cool.
And,
And what's one thing about you that no fans don't know or nobody really knows, but you would like to share with people?
I mean, I work really, really hard. Like I might post pad work videos, but a lot of people don't see really what's going on. Like I don't post videos of me doing sparring of many of my fights. I post a few pad work videos here and there, maybe some bag work videos. I don't post any videos of conditioning, but a lot of people need to know how much I sweat, how much I bleed, and how hard I go during training. And that's one thing they don't see, but they will see in 3 weeks how hard I've been preparing for this fight. I have been preparing for this fight for the past 3 training camps.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've had opponents here and there, but no matter what, it's a person I'm across from in the ring that I'm training for.
Awesome. Well, Brian, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us, leading up your Team USA fight. Um, any last words? Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I really appreciate this interview. It was really fun, and I look forward to fighting in 3 weeks. I can't wait. It's a big honor to represent Team USA, and like I said, I've been training really hard and looking for a fight for possibly the last 3 months, and I finally got one, and it's a good fight, and I'm going to give the fans a war, So come out and enjoy the fights. All of them are going to be good. All of them look stacked, so can't
Uh,
wait.
awesome. Well, guys who are watching, the ladies, gentlemen who are watching, 3 weeks from the fight. If you need tickets, contact Brian or anyone else or Bobby Campbell. Make sure you go get some tickets at Mulcahy's Pub in Wantagh, New York. If not, follow mymmanews.com. We'll be posting updates and stuff online on Twitter, on Instagram as the fights are taking place. So, Brian, once again, thank you for joining us and wish you the best of luck at English Invasion 3.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Kyle.
Thank you.